Former lowlife, but now people call me the king. Tearing it up with every lyric that I bring to the table. Because I'm willing and able. I'm in more homes than Comcast cable. I got the skill that'll rattle your brain. I'm a threat like Saddam Hussein. Everybody know my name. Joe Habib's a top soldier. Kid, they should have told you. You really need to pack a lunch. My words hit hard just like a Tyson punch. So give me a chance. I bet you I can make you dance. Show me your girl. I bet you I get in her pants. I'm breaking egos and money is what I'm stacking. Joe Habib on the mic. You know I'm down for action. Shout out to Make Beats Sir and the Beat Smith and the whole Rope-A-Dope radio crew. Yeah.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Good morning. So interesting interview this morning. Shout out to Boxing Social. Shout out to Charlie Parsons. They always do a great job. Charlie Parsons, great young interviewer, 20 years old, does a phenomenal job in all his interviews. And I am a frequent listener of him and Boxing Social. So shout out to them over there. I want to talk about a topic that I had with a lot of content creators and people on Twitter, social media about Canelo Alvarez, David Benavidez. And a lot of people were concerned because David Benavidez fights on Showtime. He's a PBC fighter. Canelo Alvarez, as I've said, is a free agent, but he does work with Eddie Hearn on a fight-to-fight basis. He does work with Eddie Hearn very frequently, and he does fight on DAZN very frequently. And what I explained to people was Canelo Alvarez could fight wherever he wants, and Eddie Hearn doesn't care if he has to let Canelo Alvarez go somewhere else if the fight is big enough. If he can go make more money somewhere else for the right fight, Eddie Hearn has no problem with him going to fight somewhere else. There's no issue. There's going to be no friction between the two of them. There's going to be no friction between Canelo Alvarez and DAZN. And everyone was like, oh, no, that's not true. He has a deal with Eddie Hearn. He fights on DAZN exclusively. You know, he can never go to Showtime. And it's been reported that Canelo Alvarez has already been talking to Team Benavidez, or not he himself, but his team has been talking to David Benavidez's team, right? So that's already been reported. It's already been verified by Eddie Hearn himself. It's already been verified by Samson Lukowitz and Eddie Reynoso that they've already been talking. So all these roadblocks or supposed roadblocks, all these narratives that a lot of you on here have created because you want to be fans of networks, right? And you care more about where the fight is instead of the fight itself, right? And whether or not it's going to happen. So you care more about that than the actual fight itself. And you didn't believe anything I said. You were screaming, yelling at me. A lot of people on Twitter were insulting me. Well, if you don't believe me, right, hear it from the man himself who currently has been working with Canelo Alvarez, right? Hear it from this man if you don't believe it from me.
You see a continuing working relationship with Canelo away from the Bivol fight? I believe the team's had talks with Benavidez.
Of course, he'll always have talks to see. I mean, he can go and take another fight wherever he wants. History will tell you that in the last, 3 years? I've done every one of his fights bar one. I've done his last 7 fights or 6 fights other than the Benavidez fight. So we get on great. It doesn't mean he's just going to stay with me to take a fight half the money of another opportunity. He can do what he wants, but we remain close and he's asked me to do a job and I'll continue to do it and we're the best in the business.
So don't take it from me. Take it from Eddie Hearn. If there is one fight that's out there for him, which is the Benavidez fight, and he can go make double the money fighting somewhere else other than DAZN, right? Eddie Hearn doesn't have a problem with it. He didn't have a problem with it back when he did it with Caleb Plant, and he's not going to have a problem with it if the similar situation arises with David Benavidez. So you guys just don't want to listen to reason. You don't want to listen to the information that's out there, right? You have cognitive dissonance, right? You have what's called confirmation bias. And when you hear stuff that doesn't suit your narrative, then you're going to find a way to spin it. You're going to find a way to discredit it. You're going to say it's not true. But that came out of the guy's mouth himself. But again, you guys will still try to say, oh, well, this, that. He just told you that Canelo Alvarez is a free agent. He could fight wherever he wants. And if there's a better deal somewhere else, he has no problem with it, which is what's called good business. And Eddie Hearn has displayed good business practices, right? He doesn't burn bridges with fighters. He understands that there are better deals for fighters sometimes, and he can't match the deals, right? So each fight, each situation is its own situation, right? You make blanket statements, oh, it has to be like this, has to be like that, but each fight has its own identity. It has its own set of circumstances. It has a life of its own. So you just can't say, oh, well, it has to be this, it has to be that, because it doesn't have to be that way. A fighter should take the best deal possible for him. Bob Arum has said several times, the deal has to make sense for everybody. Same situation with Jose Ramirez. We can work out and bang out a deal with Eddie Hearn and Regis Prograis. So I think this whole other side of the street, all of this network drama, all of this DAZN versus Showtime, all these narratives that a lot of you guys want to create because you care more about the network than you do the fight. Imagine watching the NBA Finals, right? And saying, oh, this can't be on ESPN. It has to be on Fox. Or imagine saying, oh, the Super Bowl is going to be on ABC. Fuck that. It should be on NBC. Why does it have to be on ABC? Like, no one has these fucking discussions, right? In other sports. No one sits there and has arguments. Oh, well, Jeannie Buss, she's a way better owner than Mark Cuban. Like, no one gives about this shit in other sports. This is why I say it, and I hate to say it. I'm going to sound like an asshole. Boxing has the worst fans in the world. There's the worst fans in the world. Like we in no other sport do they have these discussions, these ridiculous arguments. It's just retarded, bro. I'm sorry. It's fucking retarded. So for the people coming in late who didn't believe me when I said that Eddie Hearn doesn't care if Canelo Alvarez takes a fight somewhere else, right? If it's a bigger fight. I told you guys Canelo Alvarez can fight wherever he wants. He can fight wherever he wants.
You see a continuing working relationship with Canelo away from the Bivol fight? I believe the team's had talks with Benavidez.
Of course, he'll always have talks to see. I mean, he can go and take another fight wherever he wants. History will tell you that in the last, 3 years? I've done every one of his fights bar one. I've done his last 7 fights or 6 fights other than the Benavidez fight. So we get on great. Doesn't mean he's just going to stay with me to take a fight half the money of another opportunity. He can do what he wants, but we remain close, and he's asked me to do a job, and I'll continue to do it, and we're the best in the business.
So what he's basically saying is, yeah, we have a working relationship. He foresees and envisions them still having a working relationship, but there are going to be situations where he can get a better deal in certain fights from certain networks, and I'm not going to stand in the way of that. That's called trust, right? That's called confidence, right? In a working relationship, right? He has confidence that Canelo Alvarez trusts him, where, yeah, we can do 3 fights, we could do 4 fights, but then there's that one big fight where he can just make more money somewhere else, and I can't match the deal, right? Case in point, the Plant fight, right? I know you guys are, oh, well, we had to go over there for no, it was a better deal, guys. It was a better deal. Eddie Hearn admitted it. He confirmed it. He said it. Same thing with Devin Haney. Oh, well, I couldn't deliver him undisputed. No hard feelings. If he wants to work with me again someday, we can get it done. So these are the narratives that you guys have created on here, where you care more about where the fight is instead of how good it is. All right? It was never like this before, man. I've been watching this sport for 40 years, and I've just never seen it spiral into what it spiraled into now. Just haven't, man. So that's all I got to say, man. I'm not going to belabor the point. I'm not going to drag this video on any longer than it has to be, but I just had to come on here and just make that point. You didn't want to believe me. Believe the man himself. Believe the man himself. He told you the structure of the deal. He told you the relationship, the business relationship. He told you. You don't have to believe me. Believe him. Why would he lie? Why would he lie? All right, thank you guys. Take it easy. Have a great day. Beavis out. Talk to y'all soon, man.